As we begin our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students, I would like to have Madison Donner come forward.
April Fool's Day by Ken Nesbitt. Addison put a whoopee cushion on the teacher's chair, and Lockley told the teacher there was a bug in her hair. Ashley brought an apple with a purple gummy worm and gave it to the teacher just to see if she can squirm. Felipe put a piece of dog food on the floor, and Cooper put a piece of vomit in the teacher's drawer. Abby put a goldfish in the teacher's drinking glass. These are the April Fool's Day pranks that you can use in class. Before you go and use them, there's something I should mention. The teacher wasn't fooling when she put us all to detention.
Our next contestant is Eva Gardner.
I have to write a poem like Ken Nesbitt. I have to write a poem, but I really don't know how. So maybe I'll just make a rhyme with something dumb like cow. Okay, I write about a cow, but that's so commonplace. I think I'll have to make her be a cow from outer space. My cow will need a helmet, a spacesuit, and a ship. Of course she'll keep a blaster and a holster on her hip. She'll hurl through the galaxy on New York flights to battle with the aliens in huge karate fights. She'll duel with laser sabers while running while the spray to vanquish evil emperors and always save the day. I hope the teacher likes my tale, Amazing Astro Cow. Yes, that's my poem, and I'll write it as soon as I learn how.
Our next contestant is Kylie Martin.
Dream big, never give up. Famous Olympic gymnast quote. Everyone works hard when they want to, when they get quick results, when it's convenient to put forth effort. Champions work hard when they don't want to, when it's inconvenient to put forth extra effort. And that extra effort might just be what they need to place them on top. Wake up every day knowing that today is a new day, and only you determine the outcome of that day. So dream big, accept the challenge, and never look back. Set daily, monthly, and long-term goals and dreams. Don't ever be afraid to dream too big. Nothing is impossible. It's a human nature to be timid in the face of obstacles. Learn to believe that challenges are an opportunity for a genius to shine. In order to feel alive, we must accomplish things that we once believed we could not. It's important to push yourself further than you think you can, because that can separate the good from the great. Yes, there will be mistakes. Yes, there will be falters. There will be things that are not part of your plan. See challenges in your life. Accept them and embrace them. Set your goals, follow your dreams, listen to your heart, never look back, and don't let anything stand in your way.
And our next contestant is Sydney Furman.
Famous speech after being convicted of voting in the 1872 presidential election by Susan B. Anthony. Friends and fellow citizens, I stand before you tonight under indictment of an alleged crime for having voted at the last presidential election without having the lawful right to vote. It shall be my work this evening to prove to you that in thus voting, I not only committed no crime, but instead promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. It was we the people, not we the white male citizens, nor yet we the male citizens, but we, the whole people who formed the Union. And we formed it not to give the blessings of liberty, but to secure them, not to the half of ourselves and the half of our posterity, but to the whole people, women as well as men. And it is downright mockery to talk to women of their enjoyment of the blessings of liberty while they are being denied the use of only means of securing them provided by this democratic Republican government, the ballot. For any state to make gender elevation that must result in a disenfranchisement of one entire half of the people is to pass a bill of entanglement or an ex post facto law, and therefore a violation of the supreme law of the land. By it, women are forever withheld from the blessings of liberty. The only question left to be settled now is, are women persons? And I hardly believe any of our opponents have the hardihood to say they are not. Being persons, then, women are citizens, and no state has a right to make any law or to enforce any old law that shall abridge their privileges or immunities. Hence, every discrimination against women in the constitutions and laws of several states is today null and void, precisely as is everyone against Negroes. Susan B. Anthony, 1878.
Our next contestant is Liam McGann.
What It Takes to Be Number One by Vincent Martin. Winning is not a sometime thing. It's an all-the-time thing. You don't win once in a while. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. There is no room for second place. There's only one place in my game, and that's first. I have finished second twice at my time at Green Bay, and I don't ever want to finish second again. It is, and always has been, an American zeal to be first in anything we do, and to win, and to win, and to win. I don't say these things because I believe in the brute nature of man, or that men should be brutalized to be combative. I believe in God, and I believe in human decency. But I firmly believe that in a man's finest hour, the greatest fulfillment of all that he holds dear is that moment where he has worked his heart out in a good cause and lies on the field of battle victorious.
Our next contestant is Jordan Belligan.
Success by Vince Lombardi and Jordan Belligan. A man can be as great as he wants to be. If you believe in yourself and have true courage, the determination, the dedication, the competitive drive, and if you are willing to sacrifice the little things in life and pay the price for the things that are worthwhile, it can be done. This is a quote from Vince Lombardi, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. He led the Green Bay Packers to many Super Bowl victories. This inspiring quote is not all about football, but about life. In what ways can you be a little bit like Vince Lombardi? Maybe it's having the courage to come up and speak to you today. Maybe it's helping a friend. Whatever it is, aspire to do it with courage. determination are just a few characteristics for many successful people. You can't stop there. You have to have dedication and a drive to attain your goals in life. As Vincent Vardy said, if you're willing to sacrifice the little things in life and pay the price for the things that are worthwhile, success is yours.
Our next contestant is Isabella Freeman.
An excerpt from the narrative of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone. Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. Hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire, secret and self-contained, and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue, and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. A frosty rime was on his head, and on his eyebrows, and his wiry chin. He carried his own low temperature always about with him. He iced his office in the dog days, and did thaw it 1 degree at Christmas. Nobody ever stopped him in the street to say with gladsome looks, "My dear Scrooge, how are you? When will you come to see me?" No beggar implored him to bestow a trifle. No children asked him what it was o'clock. No man or woman ever once in his life inquired the way to such and such a place of Scrooge. Even the blind men's dogs appeared to know him, and when they saw him coming on, would tug their owners into doorways and out courts, and would wag their tails as if to say, "No eye at all is better than an evil eye, dark master." But what did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he liked, to edge his way along the crowded paths of life, warning all human sympathy to keep its distance. It was what the knowing ones call nuts to Scrooge.
Our next contestant is Mara Laughlin.
Too Young for This, Too Old for That by Peg Carrick. I am presently in what the psychologists refer to as the awkward age. That means I'm not a little kid any longer, but I'm not grown up yet either. It also means that my parents cannot decide which category I belong in. The result of their indecision is very confusing, and if they aren't careful, I'm going to end up needing one of those psychologists. For example, according to my mother, I am too old for many of the activities that I still enjoy. I am too old to play in the dirt, and I am too old to spy my parents when they're having a private conversation. Besides being too old, I am also old enough to know better. Mara, you're old enough to know not to bring those dirty shoes into the house. Mara, you're old enough to know when to wake up for school on time by yourself. Mara, you're old enough to know when to pick up your room. On the other hand, I am much too young for many of the things that I would like to do. I am too young to go shopping at the mall with my friends. I am too young to attend a movie that's rated PG-13 unless they have read a review about it. And I am too young to take a walk around the block without a chaperone. The bad part about all of this is that there is no reasonable explanation for which things I'm too old for and which I'm too young for. I'm not an unreasonable person. I know that I am too young to vote and too young to get married. I do have common sense, but no one gives me credit. My father says, "You're old enough to do your share of the work around here." My mother says, "You're much too young to run the garbage disposal by yourself." He says, "Can't you read something instead of watch TV? You're
You're old enough to exercise your mind.
She says, where did you get that magazine? You're much too young to read that sort of thing. Do you know what I think? I think my parents are trying too hard to raise the perfect kid. And the next time they say I'm too young for this or too old for that, I plan to tell them this. You think I'm going to turn out perfect? Ha! You're old enough to know better.
And our next contestant is Julianne Zanitas.
The Man in the Arena, an excerpt from a speech by Theodore Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out where the strong man stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows the triumph of high achievement, who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. Let those who have, keep. Let those who have not, strive to attain a high standard of cultivation and scholarship. Yet let us remember that these stand second to certain other things. There is need of sound body, and even more need of sound mind. But above mind and above body stands character, the sum of those qualities which we need when we speak of a man's force and courage, of his good faith and sense of honor. I believe in exercise for the body, always provided that we keep in mind that physical development is a means and not an end. I believe, of course, in giving to all the people a good education, but the education must contain much besides book learning in order to be really good. We must ever remember that no keenness and subtleness of intellect, no polish, no cleverness, in any way make up for the lack of the great, solid qualities. Self-restraint, self-mastery, common sense, the power of accepting individual responsibility and yet of acting in conjunction with others, courage and resolution. These are the qualities which mark a masterful people.
And that ends our contestants from 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Thank you very much, boys and girls. Have a seat. Let's give a warm round of applause for the great job of all of you. 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Oh, I need a little bit quiet though. Thank you all. In 3rd, 4th, and 5th, our 3rd place winner is Mara Laughlin. I think there's a mistake. I see they have 2 red ribbons. Must be a tie for 2nd place. Our 2 2nd place winners are Eva Gardner and Kylie Martin. And our 1st place winner for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade is Isabella Freeman. Please, may I have the rest of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students come, please?